200 years ago, people didn't survive harsh environments because they were stronger or luckier. They survived because they understood fire, wind and heat better than we do today. There were no propane heaters, no insulated tents, no tactical stoves. And yet explorers, scouts and frontier families slept warm, cooked efficiently, and stayed hidden in environments that would cripple the average modern camper. One forgotten survival trick from that era quietly solved all three problems at once. It produced steady heat, used very little fuel, and left almost no visible signature. It wasn't flashy, and it wasn't written about much. But it worked so well that it's still taught today by those who truly understand fieldcraft. This is the Dakota fire hole, a survival method older than most nations, and one that still outperforms modern solutions when conditions turn against you. Open campfires look comforting, but historically they were dangerous. Smoke revealed position. Wind scattered sparks. Fuel burned fast. On the American frontier, among indigenous tribes and early explorers, fire had to be controlled or it became a liability. Winter winds, prairie grass, and limited wood forced people to rethink how fire was used. The solution was to take fire below ground control airflow and let physics do the work. This wasn't theory. It was necessity refined through generations. The Dakota fire hole is built using two connected pits. One is the fire chamber, the other is the air intake. They are dug about a foot apart and connected underground. The fire burns in the main pit, while fresh oxygen is pulled in through the second hole. This creates a natural draft that feeds the flame without exposing it to wind. The result is a hot, efficient fire that burns steadily using far less fuel than an open flame. Smoke is reduced dramatically, and the fire remains protected even in harsh weather. Fire burns best when oxygen flow is controlled. Too much air causes fast, wasteful combustion. Too little causes smoke and weak heat. The Dakota fire hole balances airflow naturally. As hot air rises from the fire pit, it pulls oxygen through the intake tunnel. This steady draft increases combustion efficiency. Early users didn't need to understand thermodynamics to see the results. They saw hotter coals, longer burn times, and less wood consumption. For people travelling long distances or surviving through winter, that efficiency meant survival. This fire wasn't just about heat, it was multifunctional. Cooking pots sat directly over the fire pit, shielded from wind. Stones could be heated and moved into shelters for radiant warmth. Because flames stayed low and smoke dispersed quickly, the fire was harder to detect from a distance. This mattered for indigenous groups avoiding enemies, scouts moving quietly, and families protecting campsites. Even today, the reduced smoke signature makes this method valuable in survival and stealth situations. The process hasn't changed. Choose ground away from roots and dry grass. Dig the main fire pit about knee-deep and wide enough to contain fuel. Dig the intake hole at a slight angle toward the base of the fire pit. Connect them underground. Use small sticks to start the fire, then, once a coal bed forms, feed in thicker wood. Wind becomes irrelevant. Rain becomes manageable. Heat becomes consistent. For cold weather, reflect heat using rocks or earth walls. For cooking, place cookware directly over the opening. For overnight warmth, heat stones and transfer them safely into a shelter area. Many people rely on stoves and open fires because they're convenient. But when fuel runs out, equipment fails, or weather turns hostile, knowledge matters more than gear. The Dakota firehole doesn't break, doesn't require parts, and doesn't depend on modern materials. It adapts to almost any environment where soil can be dug. That adaptability is why it endured for centuries. People 200 years ago didn't separate survival from daily life. You know, they refined methods until waste just disappeared. Every tool served multiple purposes. The Dakota firehole wasn't impressive to look at, but it solved problems that still exist today. Heat, fuel scarcity, concealment, and weather resistance are timeless challenges. This method answers all of them using nothing but dirt, wood, and, well, understanding. Survival isn't about nostalgia. It's about reliability. When technology fails, physics remains. When gear breaks, knowledge doesn't. This fire method has survived centuries because it works under pressure. Learning it connects you directly to the people who depended on it not for comfort, but for life. If you value real survival knowledge grounded in history, subscribe to Survival Stories, share this with someone who believes modern gear replaced old wisdom, and help keep these proven techniques alive.